Hey guys, welcome to episode number 269. Today is Monday, so it's Update Monday, and I've got a whole bunch of things to update you on real quick. I'm just going to do a quick spin around the fish room and let you guys see what's up. I do have a new batch of mangroves in, as you can see. I'm actually going to plan on planting those in the stock tank in a more permanent fashion, and hopefully the turtles this time won't destroy them like they have in the past, but more on that later. We have the peristaltic pump back in the fish room. It's not operational yet. If you look at my past videos, you might recall this auto doser that I built using a replacement peristaltic pump that I got online for pretty cheap. It's basically mounted to a 5-gallon bucket, and what I'm planning on doing is topping that off with water and then adding safe. I have basically graduated from Seachem Prime, and now I'm exclusively buying Seachem Safe. It's just the powdered solid version of Prime, and it's much more concentrated. So 1 tablespoon, which is right there, treats 200 gallons of water. So that's huge for me. It means this will last basically forever, which I'm pretty pumped about. And I'll be setting that up in the future, but for right now it's just kind of sitting in the corner. So I'll get to that more at a later time. The drip system here is doing well. Everything is staying cool according to plan. Nothing is really overheating, which is great. It's basically the only concern that I had about this, but it's turning out really well. And most of that cooling is actually coming from the aluminum plate and the cold water that is constantly flowing through that tube. My computer fan actually was a used fan, and it did crap out on me, so I am going to replace that, but I'm kind of considering not even using it because without it this is staying cool. So it's great. I might replace it, might not, but for right now I disconnected it, so it's just kind of sitting there, not doing a whole lot, but as I said, not too worried about it. If we look in our middle barrel here, we still don't really have any biomedia yet. I am planning on buying the mini version of the K1 Caldness, but before I can do that, I do need to get my air system installed. And so hopefully, after the holidays, directly after the holidays, I'll be getting my air system installed, and after that I'll be buying my K1 Caldness and getting that in. For right now, I don't have a huge bio load, so I'm not super concerned about it, but that will be pretty important for the lifetime of this project. And when we look at our mechanical filter barrel, the first barrel, it's actually doing really well. This is about 2 weeks of mechanical filtration, and as you can see, it's just very lightly brown on that blue bonded filter pad, which means the majority of the stuff in the water is actually getting trapped by the pre-filter, which is by design. I'm pretty happy to see it. That means I probably won't have to replace this blue bonded filter foam all that often, which I'm pretty excited about. And speaking of those pre-filters, they are actually in these tanks. As you can see, this one here is filthy dirty, and so I actually have to swap those out here, and I'm gonna do that right after this video. But what I've done to make that easier on myself is actually to have spares of these lying around. So what I can do is the one that's in the tank, I can just pop it off the slip end of that bulkhead, and then I can go ahead and pull this apart. The cap comes off, the sponge comes off. I can rinse that in aquarium water. I can throw it right back on, and that's actually what I probably will be doing at the moment, because I don't have a whole lot of biomedia in play, but you know, once I have that K1 columnist in, I could just swap those out, wash them, and throw these new ones on and just keep rotating my pre-filters, because I won't be needing the biofiltration provided by those once everything is kind of up and running for real. And while we're at it, while we're looking at this tank, we might as well look at our angels here. These were purchased at the Boston Aquarium Society fall auction, which was about a month or two ago, and they have been living in the stock tank with the turtles fairly successfully. I believe they were eating some of the endlers that I have in there, and they're hanging out, they're having a good time. But I decided to move them out of that stock tank because I was a little worried about nitrates in the stock tank, because that's not hooked up to the central filtration system. So I moved them over here. I know they're getting a little big, and they're probably going to need to be paired out here soon, and I definitely have space to do that eventually once I get my top 4 tanks installed. But for right now, they're hanging out here. I believe these are the veiled tail ghosts. I think they have one gene for the stripeless and one gene for the stripes. So kind of an interesting fish there. When they get scared, they kind of lose the stripe even more, and you can see in the back kind of the full strength of that stripe coloration. And then we have some normal goldens as well, so kind of a mix of those. I got a couple bags of each of those at the auction. Pretty excited about those. Actually, one of the first fish that I bred, this was way back in high school, was a pair of angelfish, and so I know, you know, how demanding they can be, how finicky they can be, and you know, how challenging they can be when it comes to raising them. But I'm really looking forward to it. Give me something a little bit new, and also something that I'm familiar with. So we're moving on from endlers and moving on to angelfish for the time being. I think the plan is at least to pick out 1 or 2 good pairs here, put them in a tank or in a divided tank by themselves, and figure out what to do with the rest of those. Maybe split those up into other tanks as well. I'm also going to keep the endlers. They're just going to be kind of segregated into different tanks. We still have all of the crayfish hanging out in this tank. Nothing special, nothing exciting to look at, but they're doing well. They're staying out of fights mostly because they have those PVC pipes to hide in, which is always good. And as you might notice over here, we have our lights installed. When the stock tank was on the ground over here, I did have these lights installed, and these were actually the lights, the T5 high output lights that were over my 4 40-gallon breeder system when I was in my apartment fish room. And so now they've been set back up for real, hanging from the ceiling, hanging above this 300-gallon stock tank. Pretty excited about it, because now you can actually see into the tank. I've showed you this stock tank several times in the past, but it's always been too dark to really make out kind of what's going on in here. So we do have some old mangroves just floating around. I think most of them are pretty much dead, but we'll see if we can recover a few of them. We've got a lot of endlers in here, and these are basically the mutts of several different parents that I threw in here way back in the day. We've got our fake plants that we just threw in there, and we've got our turtles that are kind of hanging out, a little bit shy at the moment, but there's Bad Turtle getting harassed by the males at the moment. She does end up hiding quite a bit over here, where it's nice and shady and where no one can see her. I'm actually thinking about putting a few more line of sight blockages in this tank, so that they're not always looking at her or chasing after her. She's big enough to you know, take care of herself, and they don't get violent, which is good. But the 2 males can get a little bit aggressive when they're both near her at the same time, which she doesn't really seem to mind, but you know, we want to keep the aggression to a minimum. So there she is. She's getting very big. I don't believe she laid eggs. I did have this set up for her in the event that she would, and I was 90% confident that she was carrying eggs, but I haven't seen them. I haven't dug through this entire pit yet, but I did kind of rifle around a little bit, and I didn't see anything, and it has been quite a while. It's definitely outside of the laying season, so we'll see. But that's basically what's going on here with the stock tank. Pretty exciting stuff. We can actually see into it, so I'll be sure to show you video updates of the stock tank as well. I am planning on building a custom basking platform kind of out in the middle of the water there, and Zoomed actually makes some T5 high output lights that do UVB as well. And the interesting part about that is, instead of just getting the UVB at the basking spot, which is currently sitting over here on the ramp, they can get the UVB all of the time while they're swimming around in the water, which is kind of interesting. I know it doesn't penetrate very well into the water, but I guess, you know, something is better than nothing. So that's basically about it for right now. Lots of updates, lots of future plans here in the fish room, just getting stuff up and running. I know I still have these 4 tanks that need to go in up top, but for right now the air system and the biomedia is going to be the priority before I end up getting more fish and installing more tanks. But anyways guys, hope you enjoyed. Sorry for the long video, but I had quite a bit to share. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys later.